Hi friends, my name is Paul and welcome back to my channel. In the video today, I will be going through active recall versus passive review as a form of revision. I will start with an upfront conclusion, then go on to tell you what both are, then go on to tell you some evidence and why one is better than the other, and I'm going to go to tell you how you can apply that to your revision. Starting up with the upfront conclusion. Well, I think it's pretty obvious, but active recall is obviously better than passive review. I'm not a guru or anything, but since we were little, we've always been doing practice questions and trying to answer questions to retrieve information. We need to review the information, then retrieve it. It's pretty simple. Now, not saying that I'm some sort of guru, but passive review is definitely not as good. Passive review is highlighting and rereading and summarising, and active recall is trying to retrieve information such as practice questions or questions you write yourself. Now it's time to explain what is passive review. As I said earlier, passive review is reading, summarising, and also highlighting text. As this could seem like a very good thing, it is not. Not that I'm a guru, as I have said previously, but passive review tricks your brain into thinking that you're being productive and that you're learning information when you're actually not. Passive review is where you are thinking that you're taking in the information, but you are not. It's just there in your short-term memory. Now, while this is good before a test when you want to really cram information and you're just reading your textbook like a page per second, just trying to get any last information in your short-term memory. But on a long-term scale, like your GCSEs or your A-levels or your university, you want to get that information right into your long-term memory. And the way to do this is through active recall. Active recall is the retrieval of information, so asking yourself questions or even just talking to someone about the topic. So talking to your parents about biology and organisation or non-communicable diseases and all of this stuff. Just talking to your parents and trying to retrieve that information, that's also active recall. I mean, obviously summarising text is a good way to review the information, but you can't just solely do that. You have to also incorporate active recall. Now you may be thinking, Paul, what evidence do you have for this? Well, there was a study in 2011 by Carpicchi and Blunt. I'm sorry if I butchered the names, but they did an experiment where they had 4 groups. The first group, they studied what they needed to remember once. The second group studied it 4 times. The third group created a mind map, and the fourth group used active recall. Now, can you tell me in the comments which one you think did the best before I tell you? 3, 2, 1, and it was active recall. As you can see on this graph here, active recall did the best. Then the 2 middle groups, the one that studied 4 times and the one that created mind maps, were quite similar, and then the one who studied once did the worst. If this is not just evidence enough for you about the passive review and what I was saying, that your brain tricks you into thinking that you're doing revision, here's a clip from Ali Adal's video. Go follow him and go subscribe to him, where he explains the second phase of their test.
Psychologists, they had a third phase of the study, and what they did was before doing any of this, they asked the students what they think the results of the study would be. So they asked the students to kind of have a guess at, which of these techniques would be the most effective, and these are the results of that. So as you can see, the students rated repeated study as being the most useful technique, and they rated active recall as being probably the least effective one. So this kind of goes to show that our own intuitive idea of what makes a good study technique does not match up with the evidence at all. We think that, reading something over and over again, of course that's going to, increase our understanding, increase our retention of it, but actually just reading it once and then just practicing testing ourselves is just so much more efficient that it's insane that this isn't taught in schools more often.
And as you can see from that, it is crazy how people actually think that they're learning through all of these passive review ways of learning, ways of revision, when they're actually just tricking themselves. Now, you may be asking, how can I apply this? Well, there's loads of videos out there which may apply to you differently, but what I like to use and what works for me is Anki and Notion. As you can see on the screen, I use Notion to write questions using the toggle feature. Then when I press the toggle, the answer comes up. And I don't just use this for revision, I use it for any groups that I'm part of where I want to remember information. I just go through it every day or so and just try and remember what the answers were. Now, putting this in hand with something called spaced repetition, which I talked about last video, and there are many videos on YouTube who may explain it better than me, which is where you study harder information more often and easier information less often. Using this in hand with active recall, this can really help you get ace your exams and get nines, all A stars, all firsts. Now, using these hand in hand, Anki does it for you. Anki is a great piece of software where you write your own questions or get some off the internet. They use spaced repetition for you. Now, this is a great method of putting active recall and spaced repetition hand in hand, because in Notion or in a retrospective revision timetable, it is really hard to do it yourself. But Anki, of course, has all of these other positive and negatives, which I will make a video about soon. Now, I hope that is a good video and I hope that it helped you. If it did, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe to this video. That would really help me out, and if you've watched until this point, you are a real one and I thank you so much. Go and check out Ali Adal's video, and there's a couple other YouTubers up in the card who I'm really enjoying watching at the moment, so go check them out as well. Alright, love ya, see ya, bye.